Hi, welcome to my Patreon page intro video. Uh, I started Square Wave Studios in 2019, February, from my home. I rebuilt this room that we're in, and we started work from home, which is a funny thing to say now, but yeah, we started work from home and we started the studio from home. 1 year later, it felt like a good time to move the studio out of a home studio situation and make it a more professional service and a more professional studio. So I found a space in Shahpurjat and I started building a studio there. It was after a couple of months, of looking, it took 2 months of just looking at apartments after apartments, studio spaces and commercial spaces. It was eventually that I found a spot. It was very nice. I built my studio there. It took about 2 months, mid Jan till mid March of this year. I was building the studio there from my money and took some loans to cover whatever I could not cover myself. So I have been paying rent at that studio from January this year, but I have not gotten to use it except for maybe 2 days. Uh, so I started building in mid Jan, finished by mid March. I was just doing the final moves, like I was putting the table in and the furniture and some looking for like a place to sit and things like that. That the lockdown hit me. I have only done two, maybe three recordings there. One was 1 day before the lockdown, and two were during the lockdown. I would sneak there and do a recording once in a month just to feel like I have a studio. So thing is, I've been paying rent from January, so I've paid January, February, March, April, May, and now the rent for June is due. And this is when I'm realizing that although I can keep paying from my savings, I will run out very soon if the lockdown does not end. With this coronavirus situation, opening the studio and working with a lot of people is not a good idea. In a studio, we will end up avoiding the social distancing rules. You cannot work with someone with a mic, and you cannot do vocals with a mask on. You cannot sanitize a mic with an alcohol based spray thing. You work in very close proximities. The airflow is not a lot. It's like one or two ACs running, but there's no windows. Is you just work in a tight space with a lot of people, maybe three people, four people, but it's different people every day. So starting the studio in this half open sort of a lockdown, half relaxation situation is not a good idea. My parents don't have good health either. Don't want to risk it, but I don't want to lose that space there. So I've invested everything I had and I've put it in that space. If in the future, we are able to overcome the pandemic, I want to have that space and work from there, make music from there. So I want to somehow sustain it, and this is where I'm asking for your help. That if you can pledge some money towards my Patreon, it will help me pay the rent, and in return I can give you like quick ditties. I can make songs for you or for your friends. If you can tell me something about your friend or whoever you want a song for, and I can make a quick, quirky, funny little jingle sort of a thing with factual information about that song, like a custom thing for you, someone's event, like a birthday or just generally anything like that. The other thing I can do is whatever money you pledge to the studio, you do not lose it entirely at all. You get it back in studio time. So if you, it's like it's 1,000 rupees an hour of studio time. So if you pledge, let's say 1,000 a month for next 6 months, I will give you 6 hours of studio time. And if you do not need studio time for yourself, you're not a professional musician or anyone. If you don't need it, what you can do is you're following me, you know me, so maybe you know musicians and you have friends who might like to record something. So or anything you can think of, you can give this studio time that you have kind of pledged through Patreon. You can gift it to someone. So if you have a friend or a cousin or somebody who sings or plays an instrument, I will record them. So I'll give them that studio time. So you can basically pledge towards the studio, get yourself some studio time credit and just gift it to anyone you feel like, or you can gift it to me and then I will use that time to make something for you maybe. So I'm just saying, um, that you can pledge a certain figure every month, and we will make good use of it to sustain that studio and not lose it. And I was there on 22nd of March in that studio. It was my first unofficial opening day. uh, I got there early in the morning and I recorded a studio tour sort of a thing. I was capturing the first day there without having a desk, without having proper furniture. So I will tag that now. So I'll learn to edit and I'll put that video in. It is just me with a vertical, proper, like a camera like this, and just showing the studio around for a while and all the gear that I have. And I was so excited to start it. And the next day, I think it was 22nd, 23rd of March, that we have been in lockdown since then forever, which is unfortunate. But that day I made a video which I'm glad I did. So I'm going to share that with you so you can see the studio that you will be supporting. You can see my dream over there and what I wanted to do. It's yet to finish. So whenever the lockdown eases out, I have to put a desk in there. I have to put speakers in there and a little bit of furniture in there, and then it's ready to go. And I could definitely now use your help. I haven't really made money in from January because I was making the studio from January till March, so I was mostly there every day and doing some work from home to sustain it. But I've been paying rent since Jan, and I want to continue paying it. But I have not been able to use that space to make any money as yet. I had a lot of projects lined up for the next couple of months. I had a lot of stuff on paper, like emails, confirmations, but everything was put on hold. I was doing jingles and music for advertising. All of those projects are on hold right now until the lockdown and the coronavirus situation is lifted. They do not want to release their products, they do not want to release their films, or they're not able to make their films. So I am not getting my payments, or I'm not even finishing the projects because they're not giving me feedback. So everything is on a hold right now. It's a really weird time, and I don't know how long this will go on for. So I can sustain myself for a little while longer, but anything beyond that, your help would be amazing. So I'm acting on it, not like super early. It's already June, and we have been in lockdown for 2.5 months, but I'm acting on it just in time to, like, hopefully never have to vacate that place. It will be a nightmare breaking everything down over there and getting it back. I hope I find a way to make it work, and that's why I'm making this Patreon page. And now I'm gonna just edit and tag that video in. Peace. Brief studio tour sort of a thing. So you walk in. This is the door that will get some art hopefully on it, and then I put a little like panel on the back of this door because it's pretty close to the desk, and I know it'll like be boom boom station when we start playing those HS8s, which will be replaced by smaller monitors. So as you walk in, on your left you have this passage to the booth back there. That furniture came with this place. I'm figuring out what to do with it. That door leads to the bathroom and the kitchen and like the pantry or whatever. So over here I still have like stuff that needs to be figured out. Like that diffuser needs to go somewhere, and I need to get my guitars out and stuff. So over here, this table also came with this place. I kind of like just started using it for now, and I have to build a desk for myself. So the MIDI keyboard needs to go inside, and some there'll be some like acoustic panels on that wall behind me, because I just from experience I know that the speakers kind of like I mean they always like reflect stuff from the back wall as well, so I have to figure that out. But that's my last priority for now. I've done something for the ceiling. Originally I did not have the fan there, but
does smell like paint, so I need to get rid of that and other things. So we put the couch in there just like on just like yesterday or something, a couple of days back. This is like there's some posters that this place like thankfully came with, and I'm gonna use them somewhere, maybe like over here or outside or something. Okay, now I'll show you the booth. So I have some storage here for like mics and cables, and some here. I got a bunch of books and stuff, and then this is like that's the booth again. Maybe we can do something with this door, with this wall, make it like nicer. That's the booth, and those are all the extra panels that I'm like I have to figure out where do I put them, or do I not need them. So the booth is like we have like a little bit of an overkill for a small booth. 8 channels, like 8 XLR mic channels, and then I have 4 TRS things there. I have I'm gonna put I should be able to put a screen inside here for Foley recordings and stuff like that. This is where like I was doing like a recording here, so I had my Neumann, my only nice mic. I have this here for lyrics and stuff. So usually how it works is that I'm sitting up there, and I always have like a producer or like a friend or like a friend of the artist who sits here on that couch, and that person kind of like usually that person knows what they want from the artist. So we have a talkback mic, and they communicate, and I record. It's just how I work. So I face that wall, and the artist can see me from inside, but I can't see them. I may put a camera so I can see them later, unless I turn around. And yeah, that's just like my handy selfie cam tour of the place. So this is Square Wave Studios Shahpurjat, and I usually produce like assignments here, like anthems and advertising work and stuff. Oh, okay, let me maybe I can show you some of the gear as well that I have right now. So I have my old HS8s that are going to be replaced by smaller monitors for this room, and then I have an Antelope Audio, my discrete 4 that I've had forever. And just for the extra channels, like I usually don't need more than 4 good preamps, but just in case if I need them, I have this ADAT expansion unit that gives me 8 more channels. So if I'm doing like some dummy recordings like guitars and DI stuff, just for a drummer or a percussionist to be able to play. Let's see. Okay, cool. Alright, let's do this over here. This is that's the nice mic. I only have one. I have some extra mics, that's not a mic really, but that's a SonarWorks reference thing. Some headphones, and I have some stuff here, like a 57 clone of some kind, and there's a talkback, like that's a 58 beta 58 sort of a mic, and then I have a Rode M2 or a M3 at home. I haven't brought it here yet. This is a hypercardioid mic, and then I have these from like the time that I first started recording, and I just thought, okay, cool.
Okay, so I made that when I was just hanging out at the studio alone. I don't know why it cuts off randomly like that. I need to get better with making videos and editing them. But if you made it this far, that was me being 5 years old and showing all the little gadgets and mics and equipment that I have. It would be wonderful if you can support me by pledging at the Patreon page. You can pledge a very small amount, like a 500 rupee a month, or something like a couple of thousands, like 1,000 or two or five, whatever you like, whatever your situation allows you to. There is no pressure. If you cannot at the moment, it's totally fine. You can just say hi, and you can just tell me that you support the thing, and you don't have to pay money. I would just be happy to hear from you. And I just generally feel, I think I should be able to make this work with the help that I'm gonna get from here, and hopefully the projects should resume now. And that's just my only goal. But I'm glad you made it to the end. You kind of spent like 15 minutes watching my stuff, so I'm really happy you did that. Thank you.